Hey everyone, happy Wednesday, another glorious Wednesday. Welcome to Yup Live. How are all my wonderful, beautiful co-hosts?
What's up? How you
Wonderful.
doing?
Hey, girls and
We got a
guys.
little color coordination going on. Black,
It
We
white.
do.
always
We got
happens like
some
this.
red and black,
I like it. I like it. The Yup colors.
They
It's
are.
yeah, so
Always
we
on brand.
of course it's still Black History Month, you guys. It's still Black History Month. It's actually kind of moving a little bit slower than what it normally does. I don't know if it's because everybody is paying attention and everything is in hyperdrive for Black History Month, but have any of you guys done anything special or been a part of any dope Black History events virtually?
I haven't been, but I don't. It doesn't feel like Black History Month to me. Maybe because we're all inside or something. I feel like usually I feel a little more of the spirit and energy. How about you guys?
It's join week for Urban League. So there have been a few
Okay.
good conversations around Black History Month and for the movement and the people. So I've joined a few good conversations this week.
Okay.
Okay. I think for me, it does feel like it because I feel like people are having more conscious conversations. And so I can really appreciate that. Actually wish me a happy Black History Month. And I thought that was interesting. So it does feel like Black History Month to me. And I
Okay.
love being Black. So I think that it's befitting that Valentine's Day is around the corner. I'm excited.
Oh yes,
I
it's
It
always
Valentine's.
wonder
is.
why people say Happy Black History Month. It's like, is it supposed to be sad? You don't say Happy Women's History Month.
I
Well, like
don't
you say, Happy New Year's. It's just happy. I don't know.
know. I take it as I'm happy to be Black, and I just pull it all in the same category.
I'd rather somebody say something about it than nothing about it. We've had
Yeah.
years of people not acknowledging our existence as Black people. At least they can, you can. I take donations and everything. If you just want to say, hey, you know what, it's been hard. I understand it's hard for Black people out there. Here goes my Venmo. Go ahead and send some. I
I'm
won't
with
take it personally.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we've suffered a
Fair.
lot and we still do. So, yeah, definitely hit that cash app. If you want to support the Black movement, I'm here for it.
And I
I'm
don't
all
know
here
if you
for it.
want to give a little Black History Month history lesson, but it started off as a week with Carter G. Woodson, and then they expanded it to a month. So that's pretty interesting.
I didn't know
I
that.
think I
That's
did know
interesting.
that, but people never talk about it.
They don't, but I
They
think that's something to recognize is that it was a week, and then we have trailblazers who expanded to a month. It's the shortest month. Maybe we can get 2 months. Like it's a raffle around here.
Maybe we could
Yeah,
get too
that
much.
is.
Maybe. Um, so speaking of that, I guess we can hop right in. I think Shariq's still a little frozen, so we're gonna give her a minute to come back. But I wanted to talk today about Van Jones. He's a Black political leader. If you don't know who he is, he's a current CNN host. He's an Emmy Award winner. He's a New York Times bestseller. He's written a few books. He also went to an HBCU and Princeton Law School. You might have seen a lot of him on TV, specifically on CNN during the election. He tends to be a leftist, liberal, but a little moderate. So he's like usually the guy going back and forth between the super liberal and the super Republican on set. But he's been doing some great things lately. He has his own initiative and program that he opened up in Oakland, in which he helps revitalize specifically the Black and underprivileged communities. It kind of made headlines recently because I just found out that Kim Kardashian is studying to be a lawyer up under him. But just in general, he's just been a leader for our community, and I think an avid voice. One other thing to say about him, he was also a member of Barack Obama's cabinet, one of the youngest members, and somebody that Barack Obama leaned a lot on during his presidency. He's come up with a new documentary that he's coming out with and that he's going to share. I think. Oh, Shariq's back. Shariq, you can go ahead and lead us into the doc.
You guys can see me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey girl.
Okay, technology. Like I said last week, the devil's a liar. No, that was really good. We know that Van Jones can be kind of a controversial topic because he's basically trying to, bridge the line and bridge the gap between super far right before I left this, I really appreciate. And if you guys ever pay attention to The View or any of the Republican commentary, you know, Meghan McCain, who's on The View every day, she's pretty hardcore Republican. However, she's totally against Trumpism and what they're doing right now with QAnon and all of the conspiracies and the insurrection at the Capitol. So I thought it was really interesting that the two of them came together and created this documentary. So we're just going to play a little snippet of his interview from The View last week, which he spoke to why he was doing what he was doing. So we're all going to mute ourselves so you guys can watch it.
So, Van, you joined forces with Meghan to executive produce this documentary, The Reunited States, clever title. Tell us what it's all about and why you two chose to collaborate on this.
Well, you know, some people would say the United States was never united enough in the first place, so the title is deliberately somewhat provocative. But it's an attempt to show people who are coming from very different places actually interacting with each other. There's a family that's from a more conservative background who actually gets out of their bubble, and they start meeting people across the country, and they learn there's a whole bunch of happening out there that they were not aware of. And again, I think Meghan and I, look, we're both strong partisans. We're not perfect people. There's no perfect people in the country. But we do know that there's a lot more good out there and a lot more goodwill out there that's getting any attention. We just want to lift that up and make sure that people can see some of the beauty in the country as well.
Van, I've always believed there was more good in this world, but as of late, in the last, I don't know how many months, even my positivity has started to erode. But seeing this documentary gave me the biggest heart hug. And I say that for anyone out there that believes that we don't have other options. We have to talk. There has to be unity. You must see this documentary. I cried, but I went to sleep so excited and hopeful after watching this. And I you know, a big compliment to both you and Meghan. This was really good work.
Everybody
Wow.
I think that's remarkable. I think for many of us to see that and to see two people who have completely different ideas in terms of democracy and politics to come together and want to create this unity, and him being the leader in that. And he can be controversial and I think misunderstood, but he, you know, they even said, oh, why are you taking pictures with Candace? Oh, girl, Candace. And he said, you know what? He said, you know what? She's a human being. You know, I'll take pictures with anybody. That doesn't mean I have to be mean to her. That doesn't mean I have to disagree with her. But I'm a human being and I take pictures with people. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I thought that was really remarkable. And kudos to Van Jones.
Yeah, I get the controversy, and I kind of get Sunny's point of view, because to me, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, right? And to me, he plays and straddles the fence. And I understand he wants to unite people, but with that said, you have to kind of have a grounding in who you want to be. If he's talking about the criminal justice system, which I think he's done fabulous work in. I listened to a few podcasts over the years with him talking about the criminal justice system, and he's educated me a lot on it. But I think that's his lane, right? And I don't want to say stick to your lane, but that's where you thrive, right, Van? You don't need to be hugging Candace. That sends a not the wrong message, but it sends a message that Candace has value and that she is saying something right. And we all know Candace is a fool. So I think that as much as he wants to unite, and I think it's all out of love and it's great, he also has to kind of say, well, you know, Candace doesn't speak accurately on certain points. Meghan McCain, I understand that she has legacy in the GOP, but I don't align with her values. You can't really play the fence and say, oh, Trump's a good person one day, he has a strong base, XYZ, and then the next day cry about that you finally feel free in America because it's a new president. So as much as Van does great work, and I'm excited for the documentary, I still think he's a little shady.
What do you think?
You know, I think for me, I'm actually happy that he's doing the work that he's doing. And I see the controversy, but he's done so many good things that, you know, I feel like, how can I best put this? Someone's going to be upset anytime you're making some type of change or progress. Like, there were people upset with, you know, Martin Luther King, you know, so I just kind of feel like he has made a conscious effort to make change. And I think that we can always look at some of the the more negative things, like, oh, he took a picture. But let's think about like the justice that he's doing for these individuals. And so a lot of people know Van from the partnerships that he's done with Kim Kardashian. He's done a lot of work with that. And unfortunately, unfortunately, it's like he only gets sometimes the negative backlash. I saw a clip from Amanda, what was it? It was
Amanda
Seal?
Seal.
Yeah, Amanda Seal, I think, calling him all types of names. And I just think that's inappropriate. I mean, she has every right to express herself, but this man has done a lot of good things for the community. And I think it's overshadowed by people's own biases. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree. And then going back to your comment, Jasmine, regarding, I know that that's a narrative that a lot of people are pushing. What he said about Trump and then him crying, you know, when Biden and Kamala won. And he actually spoke to that in this interview. And he said, you know what, you have to be careful when you're involving yourself in your views with the media, because they will take a snippet of what you said and run with it. And he said in the whole interview, when he was talking about Trump, when he said the things that he said about Trump, he was saying, you know, it's unfortunate that we're not really able to give Trump the accolades for the things that he has done that are good for the community, including prison reform and social justice reform in the prisons. He's actually done that. So we can't even celebrate that because he's out here being a fool and acting crazy and causing insurrections. They only played a certain clip of what he said, which was about, oh, Trump has done some good, and didn't play the whole thing in its entirety. So I think yeah, that's the media for you. So I think we have to be careful, and then, you know, we always talk on the show, we have to do our own research and just look at things in the totality. In terms of him taking a picture with Candace Owens, I feel some type of way about it, but at the same time, like you said, she's a human being. She's a person. We all know she puts on for the camera. You know what I mean? We know.
But would you take a picture with Trump right now or Ivanka? You know, Ivanka, she has, yeah, exactly.
No, I would not. We don't know the relationship and what type of conversations that they have had. And maybe they've gotten to places where they can agree to disagree on certain things. I know they've bumped heads and went at it. That's their relationship. But I can't say, you know, she's the most horrible person in the world. There's other people that are completely awful. But, you know, shout out to Van Jones for the good that he is doing. And we just hope that we can continue to bridge that divide. But moving right along, we can't go through this episode without talking about your boy 45. As we all know, or hopefully you are aware, that the impeachment trials have begun. Pretty much the Democrats have been going in these past few days, making a case for why we should go ahead and have the trial for conviction. It was really interesting to me that, you know, we see 6 GOPs vote yes for it. And now we're at the stage these past 2 days where we're actually witnessing them bring evidence to the table. They're playing videos. The Democratic impeachment committee just had all of their guts and all of their receipts aligned up completely against your boy Trump. And his new lawyer, because he's not with Giuliani anymore, his new lawyer by the name of Bruce Castor completely embarrassed himself, y'all. I don't know, did you guys see it?
I saw part of
that. I didn't. What did he do?
He was fumbling over his words. He kept referring to himself as a prosecutor and then had to correct himself. He says, oh, I'm sorry, because I am a prosecutor. I'm so used to saying prosecutor. I'm actually the defense attorney for Donald Trump. It was a hot fire mess. And remember when I said, you know, not having Trump around was going to lessen the intensity of how we watch and are glued into politics? This was it was a shit show. But I thought it was very impactful and very, very good that the Democrats band together. And they got all the receipts. They showed videos. They showed actual diagrams of where people were when they were chasing after Pence and his family. They were just very thorough within their arguments that, yes, it is absolutely constitutional to go ahead and impeach someone even though they're out of office, because that's basically all of Trump's team's defense is he's out of office. It doesn't matter anymore. They're saying, well, if that's the case, anybody can go and do a crime while they're in office 2 days before they're supposed to be out, or go ahead and resign the next day, and then they don't suffer any consequences. So with that being said, you know, it was a very good argument. And I think I'm hopeful that, you know, he will get convicted, because let's be honest, we don't want to see this man run for any office again. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I just kind of feel like he's not in office anymore, and maybe some policies need to change, because I feel like it's more impactful if you're going to convict someone to do it real time, but to wait years to convict them and do the whole trial, it almost feels like an afterthought. So I kind of wish that some of the laws would change, so that if you're going to impeach someone or make sure that they're on trial for crimes, then it's done while they're still president, so that someone else can like take their place. Because now it just feels like an afterthought. Like, I mean, it sounds bad, but I don't really care. He's not in office anymore. So it's like, okay, well, he gets impeached. He's already served his full term. So it doesn't really, I guess it doesn't really make a difference to me.
Got it. What do you think, Jasmine?
I'm two-sided on this, and I know I just said we shouldn't play the fence, but one, I think yes, we just tried to impeach him last January, right? And that fell through. And I think that in a sense, this is a continuation, and it shows accountability. We tried to impeach him the first time, and it didn't work out. However, he still committed crimes. He still was up to no good. So you need to kind of make sure he's silenced in a way, and cancel culture. However, part of me is like, okay, well, you impeached him and he's not able to run for office anymore, because that's the goal of the whole thing, right? So that he doesn't run. He still has Ivanka. He still has Jared. His legacy is going to continue whether or not he's impeached right now, if he wants it to be. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and I think the biggest punishment is taking away his Twitter. Like, that's how
he is silent right over here.
Right, that was how he was able to get stuff done. Those Twitter fingers. Like, you took away his Twitter, so essentially his big following, his bases, yes, they're communicating in different ways, but it's definitely not as smooth. He doesn't really have a way to get information out into the entire world. So,
and I think it's also a precedent on a global stage, right? Yeah. We talk about America as this pillar of democracy and kind of set the standard for the world. If we let Trump go, what's stopping us from saying, okay, well, China, go ahead with your dictatorship, Korea, do your thing? It's kind of saying, okay, we're going to stop this and nip it in the bud where it is. America's not handling dictator or authoritarianship. So I think that's also a precedent to impeach him as well.
Yeah, and then, moving right along to somewhat of the next topic, but it still aligns with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's completely from the ideals of Trumpism. And with her and her conspiracy theories and her saying just outlandish stuff about, Sandy Hook and the shootings in school, and saying that the Pentagon never had a plane that went through it, and basically threatening other constituents, within the House and in the Senate. I think he emboldened people like her to have a seat at the table. And with her and all of her craziness, where do we draw the line? And I think with this particular impeachment, remember, impeachment is just the point of going to trial. Once we're in trial, then we see, okay, are we going to convict? The conviction is where it counts. I think if Trump doesn't get convicted, I think we embolden even further crazies. I'm going to just say it, the lady's crazy people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, if you guys haven't heard, if you don't know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, she ran unopposed to have her seat in the House. And she was actually a committee chair for the education committee for our government, in which this crazy lady said that Sandy Hook really didn't happen. It was just a ploy so that they could try to take away our guns. She's supremely disheveled and disillusioned. And she went ahead and had her apology party, which it wasn't public. She never fully apologized in the public. Supposedly she did it, within their own Republican meetup. And she just doesn't care. And I think we're emboldening people like that if we don't take the necessary actions to let people know, no, you cannot go against our democracy. You cannot make up lies, and you cannot embolden other people to kill and threaten our politicians. So it really worries me that this is where we are, to see her and to see him. I'm just wondering, when are we going to end the craziness?
I think it's just starting. If you look at history, Reconstruction happened, and then Jim Crow rules. So I think this is just the beginning of everything. We saw what happened at the insurrection. We saw what happened when I won't call them rioters, but when the white supremacists, if you will, ran Biden's truck and Kamala's truck over in Harris, pushed them off the side. So they're not stopping. I think they're still plotting. I was gonna say I didn't realize she was ran unopposed, but I was gonna say people voted for her. The way you see the Republicans fighting and scared of their base, I think Democrats and progressives have to put their representatives on notice just as hard, the same way the Republicans are, because that's the only reason why she is capable of getting office, because she can just slide up right on in there.
Right. So keep in mind, they did strip her of her committee duties, but she tweeted afterward and said, "The stupid Democrats, ha ha ha, now you just gave me more time."
Exactly.
I do think that that's interesting that she got reprimanded kind of, quickly. And we all know that there is different punishments depending on sex, depending on race. And so something makes me think like, I wonder if she was a Caucasian male with the same actions were to take place.
No, because we still have Senator Hawley.
Exactly. So, those are the things that I think about. Like, yes, I'm glad that she was, reprimanded, but I just wish that things like this on all different levels, no matter, your socioeconomic status, no matter your race, like everything the punishments would be the same across the board. Like, I'm looking forward to that day.
That's a very good point.
If that was the case, when them people was climbing the Capitol, they would have got shot.
Right. I mean, there's something to be said about privilege, and I think that we in general, people talk about it, but I don't know if we talk about the extent of privilege. Like, a Black person can do something and a white person can do something even more that should deserve a felony, and they don't get the same amount of time. And it's just hard to see it all the time. But I think it's almost like, all right, that's just how things are. It's just hardening, and you kind of move on. It's almost like we're desensitized to the privilege and the injustice. And so, those are just some of the things that I think about, I guess. Just the privilege.
Did you all see the woman who, she was one of the insurrectionists, and now she was able to get a flight to Mexico? Why isn't she on no flight list? She's still living her best life after raging the Capitol.
Yeah.
Why is it that it's like y'all should have locked up no bail? I don't get it.
They said that she already had a pre-planned.
I don't care. Cancel it.
Child.
You lost your money and you decided to act up.
But we can have it both ways. Like, do you want to promote the prison industrial complex or not? It can't just be that I don't want Black people to go to jail, but if they're a white person, go to jail. So if you commit crime, you should. We see, like, it's a complicated topic because the laws are set up so that the things that Black people do are already crimes. So if you want to go by the book and say, well, you committed a crime, then it's going to lock us all up. So me, I'm a person I'm against the prison industrial complex for anybody, for white, Black, anybody. I don't care what you do. We need to get rid of jails. Then we can talk about different forms of discipline and punishment, but jail, nobody deserves to go. If you ever been to jail, nobody need to go to jail. Nobody.
I've never been. I don't know want to go. I'm not jail bait. If that y'all need to bail me out.
Jail ain't for me, honey.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna survive in the holding cell. Okay. So
I know they make them look so bad on the sitcoms, right? Always.
I think Orange is the New Black is a topic we can discuss too, because that was a lot of controversy.
Definitely.
What was it?
Orange is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
About women in the prison industrial system. There was a lot of conversation around
privately owned prisons. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. But I do want to get into this next topic. Jasmine, did you want to take it away?
I thought Gigi was taking it away.
I can take it away. So, last week we talked about money and investing, budgeting and saving, right? That's kind of been our topics from week to week. So recently, this was a discussion that came to pass about Robinhood, and we talked about Robinhood and GameStop. So last June, there was a teen that actually committed suicide because he thought he had lost $750,000. And so now his parents are suing Robinhood because they're saying, hey, we reached out for help and support. We don't feel like you guys did your due diligence to ensure that helped my son. His mother even said that, they asked him kind of what did he want to do when he got older. And he really talked about helping others. And so, mental health is something that's near and dear to me. And it's just unfortunate that he lost his life that way.
Yeah. I think it says something about the impact of money, right? And as much as we're talking about money on this show, I won't use, money is the root of all evil, but it's a necessary evil, right? So I was going to bring up text that I don't want to bring up. But it's like this poor child, he had no idea, thought he was in all this debt that he wasn't, just because Robinhood didn't clear his account to where it needed to be. And he lost his life. And I think that's just so unfortunate, the things that money, or the impact money has on families, on individuals, on societies.
Well, to piggyback off of Jasmine, what I'll say is the full scripture is the love of money is the root of all evil. I feel like it's perfectly fine to have money, have as much money as you want. When you start obsessing over money or anything, it becomes a vice, whether it's sex, whether it's money, whether it's popularity or fame. We see a plethora of young people out here committing suicide because of Instagram, because they're not getting likes, because they're getting virtually bullied. So I feel like society has some duty to help make sure our society is healthy. I think it's problematic when we put it on one company, because I don't think it's Robinhood's fault. It's all of us. It's big media. It's everything that we dive in, and I don't have all the answers, but I definitely feel sorry for the young man that passed away. And I think that I can't say it enough, as a society, we need to do better and make sure we're putting things in their proper order. And I think we do a great job on the show. We can talk about money and then make it very clear. And correct me if I'm wrong, I speak for everybody here, that's we value love, family, and people more than money.
Definitely.
Yes. However, and we'll go to this in our topic with our guest, but we value love. But am I going to marry someone who's not going to be able to financially provide for me? Am I going to marry someone who I married them and now I'm in debt because our credit scores are together now? So it's like a catch-22. Money actually makes the world go round, and we can't get away from that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna marry somebody with listen, they gotta have two hands, they gotta have 2 feet,
100%.
They gotta have hair on their head, they gotta have a little money, they gotta have a little credit score.
So you're not gonna marry
I'm not going. Well, listen. I'm okay. I'm trying to make light of the subject, but I don't.
I think that's how it should be, Lawrence. I agree with you for one.
But I'm just saying. Oh, thank you.
An agreement.
I'm just saying you gotta be holistic. You gotta be whole. You gotta have a little bit of everything. There's standards, and if you're missing something, and you might not be the person for me, that doesn't make you a bad person. But I expect a little bit,
Definitely. Well, since y'all brought it up, I would love to just go ahead and bring in our guests. I'm very excited that they were able to spend time with us today. One of them I went to high school with way back in the day. Can you guys see me? Am I frozen?
We can see.
We're good. Okay. So I want to go ahead and introduce these two married couples, somewhat of a newlywed married couple, Io and Andrew Sims of Sims Uncut. Hello.
Hey.
How are you all?
We are good. How are you guys?
Thank you. Don't mind
our
little banter and whatnot.
I love it. I love it.
So we definitely want to get into it. First of all, we know that you two have a financial advisory company. So if you can just start off and tell us about that and what led you into getting into that field.
So for me, it was really exactly kind of like what you guys were talking about, money, in the sense that one, there was never enough of it, and it kind of controlled whether or not I was able to spend time with my family, because I was working the night shift at a job from 8 o'clock at night till 8 in the morning. So I wasn't able to take care of my dad the way I wanted to. Even though I was making okay money, I wasn't actually being able to hit my goals in life. So it came to a point where I had to make a decision whether I make the money or take care of my family. And I decided to take care of my family. But luckily for me, we landed, we kind of started this firm and we took it from there, right? So it wasn't easy to build, but it was definitely worth it.
And mine was a little bit like that, but mine was more on the time side. I was working at AT&T, and I was from bell to bell, and I was missing birthdays and just not being able to be with my family if needed. So this is why the time and the money is why I started this business.
Great. I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think a lot of us struggle with that predicament, right? And me personally, I think about it all the time of transitioning. How and like, what were the first steps that you guys took together to say, hey, we're ready to transition out of what we've been doing, these jobs that are taking up all of our time, and we're going to start our own business. What were the first steps that you guys took to get there?
I would say working on our mindset.
Yeah.
It is definitely different from having a boss tell you, hey, you need to be here at this time. You need to show up. This is how you need to look. This is what you need to do. Right. Versus when you're in business and you start a business, there's no one there telling you when to get up, when to go to sleep, right, how to eat, how to think, anything like that.
What's your next step? None of that.
Yeah, you really do figure it out. And luckily for us, we had some mentors around us and people we really respected that were able to guide us through the process of really getting our business up and running.
Right.
No, I think that's amazing. I do want to take a step back and get to know you guys a little bit better, because I know you are newlyweds, but I would love to hear a little bit, especially because it's Valentine's Day. Maybe I'm a small bit of a hopeless romantic, but don't tell anyone. I don't want to ruin my street cred. But, tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about like how you guys met and how you came to be what I would say is this phenomenal power couple.
Well, we actually met through the business, is what we're doing now. So tell the story.
Sure. So we actually met at a business convention. We were both in the financial industry separately, but we were at a business convention together. We had no idea who each other were. I seen her first. I was like, oh my gosh. Right? Immediately starstruck, over the moon, right? But I will say that once we kind of got to know each other a little bit better, that's initially how we met, at a business convention. And we started talking. We were like, okay, well, you have some of the goals, same goals I have. Right. I have some of the same goals you have. And it really just, we were equally yoked, but at the time when we met, we were in different situations, right?
Okay.
It was kind of like, okay, cool, I like you, but we got to honor the commitments we've already made. So it is this, see you when I see you, all right?
Right.
Another business convention rolled around and our situations had changed. And we were able to kind of explore, like, okay, do we actually like each other, or was it just kind of like first sight, Right. And immediately we kind of hit it off. So we just decided to, hey, well, let's just see where it leads. And then we got here.
We had a conversation, and we like to call this conversation Barney versus Rugrats. We'll do that a little bit later. Yeah. Barney being like your typical 9-to-5 job, and Rugrats being an entrepreneur, doing something that makes you happy, and no matter what, just doing that because it makes you happy. And then so we were having a talk about that, and we just sort of like, you have the same mindset. I like this. I like this. Okay. But again, we were still in different relationships at that time. So it's like, this is someone that I can see myself with, but we're in different relationships, different worlds right now. So it's like, And then he got out of his, and I was still in mine, and we called him Trial App.
I'm gonna have to use that. I'm gonna have to use
Good one.
And then we just realized, you know what, this is something that we do see can go for the long haul, and we have the same mindset. We're already in the same business. Like, why not? And we always started off as friends too, so it made it even better.
Yeah, and we kind of knew each other. Like from that point, it was, I don't know, almost 2 years before we actually decided, hey, we're gonna get together. And we were friends. It was like, hey, I like you, but nothing more than friends. That's it, right? But that's kind of where we started. But we decided, hey, you know what? Let's actually put our businesses together, because two heads are better than one. And in our relationships, this is actually something we'll cover a little bit later, but you have to be on the same page.
It's a must.
Absolutely.
And I was going to actually ask you all that. You all talk a bit about your values and how you all kind of aligned. Did you all go into business before getting married? Was it kind of a marriage? Once you got married, you all just combined your businesses? How did that trajectory happen?
Oh, we were, like we mentioned, we were both in the same business separately. But then when we got into a relationship, we sort of took it more like a couples thing. And then we actually got married and made our business even better because we're now one.
Yeah.
So whatever I do grows our business. Whatever he does grows our business.
So what would you say to couples who want to combine their money? Is that smart?
How
How did you all do it? How would you recommend people who are not in the financial industry?
So
we don't have to explain that face.
So for us, it's we both have separate accounts, and then we have accounts together, right? But we have complete access control on both sides. Whether it's my account, she has full access to it, and vice versa, right? I think when you're in a relationship initially, maybe hold off, right? Because you want to make sure that it works first. If you're going to get married and you know this is someone you're in it for the long haul, you have to be all in. It's as simple as that. You have to be all in.
Right. I want to say they have to have the right relationship with money. If they know what they're doing with money, then I would feel comfortable sharing. But it's going to take me some time to sort of figure out your spending habits, what your relationship is with money. Do you save, or do you just, I got to give it to everyone. Everybody got to get some. You share when it's like that, because I don't know where my half of the money is going. And yes, when it is joint, it is both of you guys. But like I said, if you're just out there going to strip club, just letting it rain on everybody, I mean, it's not safe. You can have yours, I'll have mine. But if your mindset is right and you have good money habits, I don't see why it would be a bad thing.
Right.
I want to touch back on that too, because you said kind of two things, and I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into it. So one, you say, I want to know what your relationship with money is first. So you mentioned, going to the club, strip club dollars. That's like an obvious indicator. But is there anything else that maybe you were looking at him, or maybe you were looking at her trying to see like, okay, she got it together? Like, how do you know if somebody has it together or not?
Okay, well, I don't mean in the sense that you have to have money relationships. It's not necessarily having it together. You don't have to be balling out of control or have amazing credit or anything like that. Because I'm a true believer that if we're going to be together, it doesn't matter where we start. It's about where we're going and the journey in between, right?
I like that.
We talk about like relationships with money. For us, our goal is building wealth, right? We don't have crazy spending habits where I do like nice things. I love luxury cars, all that kind of stuff. But I understand right now at this point in our relationship and our life, that's not an option, right? So to give you an example of exactly what we mean by relationships with money, actually just last week, we came across the car that we always kind of really, really wanted, and we could pay for it double over, right? And it wouldn't hurt us. But at this point, the goal is not the car, it's to build wealth so that later on, it's not even a question. It's just like, oh yeah, let's go pick that up, right? So what we did was actually throw the money we were going to spend on the car into an account where it can work for us. And then later on, in about a year or two, we have delayed gratification. We've built up more income, more savings. And it's even easier to just snap our fingers and say, hey, yeah, let's go get it.
I like that you said delayed gratification. I do like that you said that because money is one of the top 3 reasons of divorce, finances, unfortunately. And one of our listeners, Ashley Hamilton, says that she said it's a trap. Okay. And she also said, yes, separate with full access works for a marriage, but that joint account stuff is a whole trap. And I have heard personally from friends, I'm not going to say any names, but they say, oh, if I have a joint account, then I'm going to have a separate one secretly that I don't know about. He don't need to know how much, I have. Versus, I have other friends that are like, we're going to join it. What's mine is his, what his is mine. So it's really interesting to hear the different dynamics. But personally, I love what you said about delayed gratification, because that's something that I don't think the typical Americans really exercise. And so I don't know if you guys have had a wedding or not, but one of the big questions that keeps coming up, and I'm like, I don't know why it keeps coming up, but is if you can't afford to have a wedding financially, are you still going to go through with the wedding, whether that be taking out loans or borrowing from friends or whatever the case may be? What is you guys' take on that?
And did you have a wedding?
We didn't have a wedding right now because of the whole COVID thing. So, and the whole delayed gratification, because we want our wedding to be, you
get one shot.
Right. You want to have fun at your wedding, but you also don't want to go into debt because of your wedding. I'd rather us wait till we have the right amount of money that'll just be able to pay out to our wedding than the debt or pulling out loans, like you said, because starting a marriage off with debt is stupid. Don't do it.
I wish I could caption that.
Because from our professional and personal opinion, going into debt for something that's not going to appreciate in value later on is not smart.
Right.
Obviously, when love is involved and emotions are involved, let's be real, we're not all smart, right?
And culture. So I noticed that a lot of like African families, it's like they may have the money, they may not, I don't know, but it's like culturally you have to have a big wedding. So I think that culture plays a big part in it. And I'm talking about, I was in a Clubhouse discussion about this very thing, and people were bumping heads a lot on this topic for sure.
Well, it is definitely culture, 100%. For us, we're not really too concerned about, oh, well, we have to impress these people or conform to these standards, because we have a goal for our family that we're building. And there's nothing that's going to tell me, hey, you know what? This is the golden standard. You have to do it this way. Well, that doesn't really fit into our plan. So unfortunately, you're just either going to have to deal with it and love me as I am, or don't worry about it. I love me enough for the both of us. I got you, bro.
You dip in for the wedding.
Yeah, unless you're going to pay for it.
Jasmine.
And that's the thing. I think, and this is just from the friends that I have, with African weddings, it's more like a dowry. The whole community is putting into that wedding. It's just, and I think nowadays, it's not the mother side or the woman side of the family paying for the wedding like it used to be. It's coming out of our own individual pockets. So like you said, it doesn't make sense to go into debt for a party. You can have a budget. You can have a backyard barbecue wedding, beautiful. It's all about having a great event planner. Jasmine Laverne & Co. If you need your wedding services done.
Love it, girl.
Go ahead, girl.
And LeMay Productions if you need the videography.
Right,
And I think
I just want to be a guest and have fun.
Absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right. When it comes to weddings, I've seen a lot of people like spend a lot of money on them and then be miserable all day because they're so stressed out, and there's this that they have to do that. And then there's people that they spend, I don't know, $1,000. They go get some barbecue.
Like
they have the big backyard, and they're having an absolute amazing time. It's about the time you spend and the quality of it. not how much you spend
or how flashy it is.
Exactly.
I have a question in terms of accountability and setting boundaries when it comes to the money. What conversations maybe do the two of you have, or do you have with your clients in terms of how to communicate those? Because, you know, I may be in a relationship where I like to eat and I like to go eat out all the time, and my partner may not be that person. My partner may not be that person, or I like to spend money on experiences. Me personally, yes, I like fancy cars. You know, so if you have those differences within your relationship, how do you establish those boundaries? How do you have those conversations? Because they could be pretty tough.
I think, it's
because I like to eat.
Yeah, we both are like good foodies. We love to go out and eat and not really worry about how much it costs, but what it is and how it's going to taste.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you kind of have to set yourself on a schedule, right? So
our budget.
Yeah. Okay, well, we know, okay, this restaurant's going to cost $300. Their steak is over. This one right here, over here in the corner, is only $150, and they blow us out of the water. Right? So you have to have those conversations with a bit of a white glove approach, right? By that is, I come from a warehouse background, so when you do a white glove approach, you're building something, but with extreme care. So when we talk about, okay, well, I have to hold her accountable, or she has to hold me accountable, we understand that we are there to make each other better in every way. So it might be uncomfortable, but it's a necessary conversation, but you have to handle it not as if you're talking to a stranger, or for us, one of our clients. It's like, hey, this is the love of my life. I should talk to her and treat her that way, right? Not, hey, you need to get this together. You're doing this. It's like, hey, babe, we can improve in this area. What do you think about it?
Because it goes without that conversation, you'll find yourself hiding bags and coming into the house in the garage, just trying to hide your stuff and
the Amazon packages.
Exactly, having them open, but like just toss it over the fence. Don't worry about it. So it's very, very important to have those kind of conversations in the beginning, to where you can sort of, again, their response is, you know, how you gauge where their money intelligence is and how they take care of their money. So it's very, very important.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point, because I feel like sometimes people don't know how to have the conversation about finances. So then they go in their lives together, and it's like we have different concepts of finances, financial wealth, all of that. So for you guys, I guess the question would be, what are some important questions that you think couples should discuss in regards to finances?
The number one thing is, are you in debt and how much?
Right.
That's the number one thing. Are you in debt and how much? We need to figure out what it is. And if you got student loans, let's make a plan to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley Hamilton said that. She said, my student loans are enough debt for the both of us.
So then it goes back to that shared account. So
who's paying it at this point, right?
And I think at that point, when you're sharing an account, you should have already figured out, okay, well, this is going to be coming out. We know this person's in this kind of debt. This is what the situation is. And as you get a full picture, and it's the same thing we do with our clients, if you don't know what's there, you can't fix it. Right. That's not to say, hey, well, hey, you got 10 grand in debt. I can't deal with you. You know, I like you, but hey, that's the deal breaker. Right. And I'm not saying that, but you do have to be smart and strategic about it.
Yeah.
Right. So if you know this person's getting constant overdraft fees, you may not want to put your money in that account. You might want to start something new on the side, right? But it has to be constant communication and what we call hot or honest, open, and transparent.
Yes.
Right. 100%.
That's one that needs to go in the chat.
Yes.
I like hot conversation.
But how do you start it? Can you guys give us a small example of how you bring it up? It can be touchy.
You need the script and the prayer.
I mean, I'm not gonna ask you how to roll today, but you know, I just want a little snippet.
I'm a bit of a very blunt person, so when it comes to topics, I'm straight out like, "Hey, this is the issue. How do we fix it?"
Kind of, yeah. So where you at?
Like, what kind of debt you got? What's up?
What's going on?
Right.
Let's get down to the
but
nitty-gritty.
For people that do have a hard time talking about it and just being straightforward like that, you kind of have to get over it and understand, hey, this is the person I love, and we have a problem or a potential problem that we are going to either run into later down the line and it's going to be bigger and worse, or we can address it now and work on it together.
Right.
Not necessarily, hey, you got a problem, what's your debt, what you do, how did this happen?
You're gonna take care
it's
of
like, hey, okay, I see you have this problem or we have this problem. How do we go about fixing it and addressing it properly?
So, like, do you have any student debt? Do you have any credit card debt?
Yeah.
Where is your bank account?
Who do you bank with? What's your interest rates?
How
are you
many
actually
times-
saving money?
How many times do you have overdraft issues?
Right.
Do you saving money? Are you a shopper? Do you like to go to strip clubs and just spend money? Do you hang out with your boys? It gets really
that's the kind of things those are conversations we had up front. And I'm like, I'll be front. I love luxury things, but like the price tag that comes with them.
And another good question is, have you ever had a job?
Yeah. Like, what do you do for work? Right.
Who gives you money? Where do you get your money from?
Right.
Like, yes.
And then actually, another good question I think is, have you ever filed for bankruptcy? But another question I want to ask you guys, what about the tax structure of marriage? Is that beneficial to get married, or is it not when you're filing taxes?
I think there's benefits and drawbacks. My sister actually does taxes. So she kind of educates us a little bit on it, but I wouldn't say we're tax professionals by any means, right? That's compliance right there. But for us, we file separately. Benefits that come with it, right? But honestly, it's really a decision you'd have to make with your tax professional, right? And what works for you guys. Because each person
you can still file separately, even though you're married, but file, that's an option, but file separately.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, they have some benefits and there's some drawbacks to both situations. I know from my household with my mother and things that people have gone through when filing separately or filing jointly. So that's a really good thing. So I do want to talk about you all's company, Legacy Financial. The term legacy, it automatically makes me think of generational wealth. That's a topic that we discuss a lot on the show. So just enlighten us about Legacy Financial and specifically what it is that you all do, where you're located, and how you benefit the community.
You want to go first? You want me to go?
You can go. Take it
All
out.
right.
I love that. I love y'all.
The dialogue, it's the hot conversations. Y'all got it on.
I love it.
So our name, actually, we thought of it together, but it's exactly what you said. It's about building generational wealth. And for me, the name is significant because no one ever showed my family how to do that. And specifically, I know in the Black community, because we've been out there, we've been working, we've been serving our community, and there's a big stigma when it comes to like life insurance, right? I don't see how that could be a
controversial.
There you go, girl. Thank you.
I lose my words all the time, so I got you.
I don't see how that could be controversial, but sometimes it is with certain people, right? And it's really based on, like we said earlier, your relationship with money. Some people feel like, hey, well, it's not for me, so when I die, I'm not going to be able to use it.
Or I'm too young to die.
Yeah, I think that is, personally, I would say that's a very selfish way to look at it. In the sense, yeah, it's not for you. It's straight up, it's not for you. But me as a man, I know for sure, if anything were to happen to me today, I want her to be taken care of for the rest of her life. Because that was my job, right? And vice versa. I mean, we don't really think about it, but women in the home raising children, right? If that's the role you guys choose, then there's a value on that. There's a dollar amount to be put on that.
Right.
Because I know for sure my dad was a single father because my mom passed away. There was a dollar amount that could be put on just keeping us from burning down the house, okay? Right? There was value there, right? So whenever something of value is lost, you should have something to protect it. I mean, I'm sure whatever phones you guys have, you probably have insurance on it.
And that's so funny because we have insurance for our car, we have insurance for our phones, we have insurance for our laptops, our homes, but no insurance for your life.
Right.
That seems kind of backwards, right?
You're right. And I heard that insurance policies can actually be a type of savings plan as well.
Yeah.
I love you, girl. You research.
Listen, I'm just trying to get it together in 2021. Okay.
Okay.
So for people that want life insurance, now that we're educating people on the importance of it, like how can they sign up with you guys or just really get connected for your services?
You can contact us by our phone numbers or go online to our Instagram and reach out there. My phone number is 510-928-2104.
And mine is 951-732-0130. You can contact us directly. If we don't answer, leave us a text message because like everyone else, we don't answer random calls. Scam likely is vicious, okay?
Call me.
A big part of being in business with your significant other, know your strengths. My strength is not answering the phone, guys. I'm not
scheduling.
Yeah, or scheduling, right? So she takes care of that stuff while I'm sometimes better at the front end of the business, sitting down with clients, that kind of stuff.
So I think we skipped over a little bit. Do you work in life insurance or what is it that you all do in your business?
We work in financial services, right? So we are a full service financial firm, which means whether it goes to investments, life insurance, getting out of debt, building Head Start funds for your children, whether they want to use it to go to college or just getting a business started, right? That's really what we do, right? And then also in the retirement sector, we specialize there. So it's kind of like if you can buy everything on Amazon, we took the same concept, right? You can pretty much get all your financial needs taken care of here.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
So what are some gems then? You guys dropped so many, but did you have any? I know you said there was something else that you wanted to get to later. What are some key takeaways for people who are thinking of joining together in financial matrimony? What are some of those things that you can give us before we leave?
Communication, be smart,
trust.
It's also like when you join in business together, that means not only are you with this person at home, now you're working with them even when things get stressful.
With them 24 hours.
Yeah, and we're with each other literally 24/7, right?
Y'all like each other.
I love it, but it's like sometimes you just need your space, but
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, hey, babe, I need a day where I just need to get away from you. I love you to death, love you to pieces, but today I just need a minute, right?
I need you to stay home.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all, right? You have to give each other that space and not necessarily take offense to it because you're going to want your space one day too, right?
No, I love that. I just have one quick question because I think credit is so important. I got a text message about, and they said, do you guys clean up credit?
We don't personally do it, but we can refer you out to a third-party service.
Yes.
Like I said, we like to kind of stay within our range.
The financial realm.
Yeah, but when it comes to credit, it's definitely important. The saying goes, cash is king, but credit is queen.
Yeah.
Just a quick tip, if you can't buy it twice, I wouldn't buy it at all. Right?
Or if you don't have that amount saved times 2 in your savings account, don't buy it yet.
Right, because it's kind of like if I was going to go buy a new car and I just got a job, right? Got the good paying job, but I want to go buy a new car and I haven't saved 2 times what that car is worth. Then if I lose this job, my family's now in financial jeopardy. I'm wrecking my credit because I can't make the payments.
Yeah.
Right. So you kind of have to be smart when you're making financial decisions and understand like, hey, I do want this, but is it a want or a need?
Ashley has a good question. She says, does that apply to a house too? That's a really good question.
To a house, not necessarily, but I would always say if you're going to buy a house, I'm no real estate guru, but I would say make it a worth it investment, and then not just a purchase.
And then make sure you're with the right person buying that house. It all goes back to your partner. It's not smart to buy a house and you're going to divorce in 30 days, or you're going to divorce the next year, or it's sort of like a long-term commitment.
Yeah.
And
you got to sort of move for a long haul.
Yeah.
As we're closing, I have to ask one final question. So, how do you all feel about prenups?
Oh no, his money is my money. That's way.
Pretty much.
I like you.
I think
I have this
for
saying:
us,
his money is my money, my money is my money. That's way.
It is.
No, I'm kind of iffy when it comes to prenup, especially if you guys both came from nothing.
Yeah, if you guys built it together,
No need.
You guys deserve it, right? Whether it's one person working on the home front and another one working in business or at a job, you guys built that together, because with one, the other one doesn't succeed nearly as well. You're a partner, right? Both in business, finances, and in life, right? But if it's someone that's kind of like, hey, I already had wealth prior to meeting you, and now we're going to get married, that's a discussion you guys would have to have based on your relationship and where you guys see yourselves going.
And trust.
And the relationship with money, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh,
if I love you and I'm spending the rest of my life with you, I don't necessarily need a prenup.
Yeah. Because for us, this is it.
Yeah, I think
that's all.
I definitely think our generation, I think it's also a cultural thing too, especially in the Black community. We're like, no, like this is it. This is love forever, ever, ever. We're going to be rocking till the wheels fall off. Ashley is giving me life in the comments.
She is. I'm loving her right now.
She says, I like prenups, but I'm a lawyer, so maybe that's why. So I get it. I get it from the legal standpoint, why, that could be something that you may want to look into. But I'm a sucker for love. So
and I also wonder if that's sometimes a woman to man thing, because Ramel Hill is like, I came in at the right time, and then he's like, what if someone came from nothing and built themselves up? And I feel like sometimes it's the man that kind of be like, hey, let's get a prenup, and the woman's like, but I love you, you don't trust me. So it's interesting, the dynamics.
Sometimes it's family members too. It's like, no, you have all this money. She came from nothing. Get a prenup. You can't trust her. It's like, well, that's what you think, but what about my relationship with her?
Right. Yeah. And I think a big part of making your relationship work is having the right people around you, right? It's having the right people around you, right?
Argument that really just ends it all.
You said there's an argument that just ends it all?
Yeah, it's cute until you have that one conversation that you just don't come back from, or that one incident, or anything could happen,
Well, the name of the game in trust is never to break it.
Right.
I think about our relationship in the sense that I consistently have to be the same guy she met day one, and be the same gentleman, open the same doors, pull out the same chairs, give her my jacket, right? 100% of the time, because that's who I told her I was.
Exactly.
Right? For us, our relationship works because never once did we actually, it's a Chinese proverb that says that you got three masks. It's the one you show to everybody, the one you show to your friends and family that are close to you, and the one you show no one, right? Well, in a sense, I showed her the one no one seen, okay? It was like nappy hair, like just toe up, right? I look like Don King's Jr., right? But you really have to be consistent, right? Consistent in your communication, your effort to just court her, right? Like, you guys should be flirting every day.
Always.
Every day.
You got some friends. You got somebody that think like you.
I might need to add magic.
Ashley, I was thinking the same thing. Ashley, she said, "I love that. You should train these other jokers out here. I definitely need to have like a brother get your life class."
It's so hard to find a good man that has everything.
Right. And
listen,
bro.
the internet has been playing with me today. I've been able to hear you guys. It just keeps going out on me though. I got so much to say. But even to that last point, to Ashley's point, to everybody's point up here, sometimes you meet somebody in a situation and you got to wait and be patient. A lot of times people don't want to be patient. They want the good man, but they want him day one. We had a conversation last season and some other people on the show was like, how long we waiting? 3 months. That's it. If it ain't happened in 3 months, I ain't it. What I heard y'all say is it took some years. It took some getting to know each other. It took some friendship. It took a long road to find that person. I just want to point that out. That's all.
I think after 90 days, you figure out it's easy to front for 3 months, but after that, it's hard.
Say that again, Andrew.
I said after 90 days to 6 months, that's when all the masks, the veil is open. Like, if this dude is like, sitting on the couch picking his belly button, hairy belly kind of guy, then you'll figure that out a couple months down the line. But until then, he got the waist trainer on, he looks all buff, he's dressed right,
hair combs, he wearing a suit or trying to wear a suit.
I think, especially
ovaries do not have forever.
And we didn't even get on the topic of children. I'm assuming the two of you don't have children yet, correct?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Are there any steps that you guys are taking and prepare?
Actually,
open up a can of worms, Sharik.
I love it. I love it.
No, I'm just saying, in terms of financial, is there a certain place that you say I want to be? Because I know a lot of people, me included, I'm 32 years old. I'm going to be 33 pretty soon. I could have been had a baby. But for me, against my mother's recommendations, I know I want to be in a certain place financially, but everyone around me who has 5, 6, 7 kids, they say you can never be ready enough, so just do it. So that's the last question.
I don't think you'll ever be ready enough, but I think you do have to be strategic.
Right. You have to be
right.
smart about it.
Life is not just, do what you want kind of game. You do have to be strategic. Mm-hmm. For us, we actually just had this talk with our pastor. I'm not sure if you guys, are faith or anything like that. Not trying to get all faith based on you, but my big thing, and it has to do a lot with the way I grew up and the situations I had to face early on. My kids will never struggle with money. They will not know how to pay a bill until it's time for them to do that. Right. And then you'll actually have the training on how to do it. Not because, we had to figure out how to pay the bill because I was the one paying the bill. Right. They will be trained on how to do that. So for us, we are playing a waiting game. Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate, right? Because we want our kids already, but we understand there's a responsibility, not just for us, but to do the right thing for them, because they didn't ask for it. Okay.
Of course.
Right. You do have to be financially responsible for them. Means you have to be in a situation where you can take care of them and be independent in that sense.
Right.
I have another question too, and I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Go for it.
My question was to piggyback off of what you guys said. Specifically, you, Andrew, you said not to be too faith-based. I think we should be, and I'm not married yet, but I feel like in relationships, it's important to have a set of goals, rules, identity, faith that you both believe in. So when times get tough, you can look towards something and grow together. Can you speak to how faith has been important in your marriage and with your discipline and money?
Okay. Man. So I love this started. Like we mentioned, we were both in stupid relationships prior to getting together. But my goal is to put God first, and I wanted to just get rebaptized with the person that I was going to be married with, and that's the point that I made to say to him, like, hey, we're on this road. Do you feel comfortable getting baptized again? That let me check if he was like a godly man, or if he was like, you know what, I don't really feel like being baptized. I want to be a sinner. Right. So his God level, his faith level, and if he was willing to be reborn again with me, so we can start on this life together, as new Christian people together in a relationship and putting God first, no matter what, in our faith, in our family, in our business, even in our finances, even in our fun. Like, thank you.
Right.
So it was very, very important.
Absolutely. And she's 100% right. I say not to get too faith-based because I know a lot of people are easily offended. Right. For me, that is number one in our relationship. Right. If we're having trouble, the goal isn't to go to, okay, my aunt who's a psychologist or this, that, and the other, right? It's to go to God, right? Because let's just be real, he's probably the best counselor you could ever have. Right. And for us, that's been the only reason why we've had any financial success, any business success, and even relationally, right? That's who we go to. That's our counselor. That's our go-to guy, right? For everything, whether it's just, hey, Lord, do we buy this car or do we not, right? And then there is an element, right, when you're talking about faith where you do have to be patient. And sometimes the answer is no.
Or not
even
now.
when you don't want it to be, sometimes the answer is no.
And we pray at night, we pray in our office, we pray to start the month off, we pray about our goals. We literally put God in every single thing that we do. We prayed twice before coming on here. He is in every aspect of our life.
Right. So it doesn't matter for me, like, it doesn't matter what faith you're a part of, but I would say there has to be something bigger than you that grounds you, right? That anchors you. We were listening to a sermon the other day talking about being anchored in the Lord, right? And what comes with that, right? So, about like, hey, you have to be a godly man, right? And there are certain qualities that come with that. There is, right? And there's certain responsibilities you're going to be held accountable to. And it's not always comfortable and it's not always easy, but I will say that it's 100% worth it. Right?
I think that's a great place to kind of leave it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say amen because y'all
amen. Thank you.
I did a
great. That's beautiful.
Look, we need the
prayer. I just
even got on our bracelets. We even got our bracelets.
Oh, you guys are too cute.
It says that I can do all things through God who strengthens us.
Amen.
Oh, amen.
Like literally everywhere.
Well, we thank you guys so much for coming on. Happy Valentine's Day. And I know you guys said
Happy Valentine's Day.
Your anniversary will be coming up soon. We hope you guys get that dream wedding. I hope I'm invited. We're all invited. We can cover it. Really quickly, I do want to do roundtables. We always do a little roundtable to kind of close out the show with our thoughts and how we're feeling. I'll start with you, Jasmine, and then we'll just go around and close out.
I will start with it's Join Week for National Urban League. So check out your local chapter. And they're doing a lot of workshops and conversations on Black wealth. They're talking about the history of Black people and the movement and how we went from the 60s and compare it to where we are now. So check out your local chapter for their events.
I want to say thank you guys for coming on the show. I know I was a little sporadic with my internet, but a great episode. One gem that I took away from this was if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it at all. I feel like if you can't buy it 8 times, don't buy it. I think you gave great financial advice. I appreciate you speaking of your spiritual journey and your relationship. It was wonderful to hear. And I just want to leave everybody with, be positive. Life can be hard. Life will try to bring you down, but try to stay as positive as you can because the hard times won't last.
I like it. I would just say I've enjoyed you guys. You guys are so much fun. I think God has blessed your union. You're going to help so many people. You dropped some gems today, from getting your life insurance policy to being accountable to making sure you're hot, honest, open, and transparent. I am in awe, and I thank you guys for being transparent and vulnerable. It's not every day you get a couple that you can ask questions and get real life gems. Finances are important. And so I'm so thankful that you did that. I do encourage all of our listeners tap in with them, support them. I'm an advocate of supporting Black businesses, and not just because it's Black History Month. Support them year around. But I just want to thank you guys for that. And I do want to add something quick. Yes, you can pray about it, but it's completely okay to get therapy as well, because sometimes you need those additional resources and support. We're going through an environmental stressor right now due to COVID-19. So many things are happening and constantly changing. So feel free to definitely, yes, pray about it, but also get the help that you need for your mental stability.
Yes, definitely.
My last words, again, I'm thankful for you all for coming on. This was, I think, a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I have a consultation with them tomorrow, so I'm already like, they're going to get it all in my business. But I know it's needed, so I'm really excited about that. I always talk about me being a creative. I have a different type of relationship with money because we just kind of go with the wind. But I'm really working on that and working on myself. So I'll keep you guys updated with my consultation with Legacy Financial. Definitely follow us. Stay tuned with us. You can go rewatch this episode. Send this episode to one of your cousins, your aunties, an engaged couple, an already married couple. Send them this episode and tell them to watch, because I feel like we had a lot of really good gems. I'm definitely seeing us bringing you guys back in the future to talk about this, because generational wealth is madly, madly important right now and forever. So thank you guys. Again, where can they find you? Where can they follow you and set up these consultations with you guys?
You can give me a call to set up a consultation. My number is 510-928-2104. Remember, call me because I pick up. Right. He doesn't.
If you text me, I'll get right back to you, but I may be in a meeting.
Love it, love it.
Catch us on Sims_uncut, on IG.
Also, guys, just wanted to kind of leave you with it. It is extremely important to protect your mind. Right? With everything that is going on, it is so important that you are aware of what you're thinking about. So think about what you're thinking about and ask yourself, is it conducive and productive to my goals and where I want to go? Also to your mental health. I have family that struggle heavily with mental health, and I know exactly what it's right there. Just right. Think about, be careful what you listen to. The good book says, above all else, for it plans your way. Right. That's a bit of a paraphrase, but pretty much that's what right?
When I paraphrase scripture, it's a problem. Okay, so you need to talk about it.
So I challenge all of you. One of our big things is we always leave our clients and people we sit down with homework. So my homework to all of you, regardless of whether you're faith-based or not, is to go read the book of Proverbs, whatever day it is. I mean, it's the 10th day, so start on chapter 10, and for 31 days, go through the book of Proverbs and just read a chapter a day. Right, it'll change your life. And if you don't get it all the first time, read it again. Right.
I like that.
Thank you so much. We haven't gone over in time and so long on this show, but it was definitely
it was beautiful.
All of this needed to come out. I'm excited for my conversation with you guys. And yes, everyone, please follow us, follow them, tap in with them. I'm thinking I need to produce a show for y'all, so we're gonna talk about that too. We'll talk. Everyone have a good night. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, guys.
You can't buy it twice. Don't buy it once, even on Valentine's Day. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So does that mean 2 hotel rooms?
No. Stay home. Stay home.
All right, y'all. We out.